It is recording.
All right. Welcome back to episode 12 of The Dark Dungeon of Pop Culture, the Jabbas Dungeon podcast, with, as always, Tyler, Avery, Chad, and myself. Boys, it's been so long since we last seen each other.
It's been like a whole week.
It's been such a long week since we last recorded. We got a action-packed episode today as we are covering a film I think very near and dear to all of our hearts. Got Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2002 with our boy, the GOAT, Tobey Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Spider-Man.
Yes,
And
sir.
some other shenanigans. So, Spider-Man.
Spooderman.
What a guy.
What a guy.
I missed the part where it's fuck. What's the quote? I already messed it up.
I missed the part where that's my problem. Because I feel like this is one of those movies that is so iconic that you don't really need to like kind of go through the plot. I mean, it's pretty airtight plot wise. I mean, I feel like just hitting on the points of just, what makes it still hold up to this day. And I mean, it's dated compared to, obviously the superhero movies that we've gotten in the last like 15 years, but just for what they were able to accomplish and the actors that they had and the director behind it, I mean, the stars aligned on that one. I don't know if you all had seen this thing where when they were originally trying to make a live-action Spider-Man movie, they were going to do James Cameron, which done the Terminator movies and like Titanic, and they were talking about maybe doing Leonardo DiCaprio as Peter Parker. So like that would have been like a bad reality.
It's been too hot.
Yeah.
Would have been wild.
Jerking off every time I'd see him.
Mm-hmm. That split part. How do you all feel about Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker / Spider-Man?
Perfect.
I would also say near perfect.
Now, Tyler.
Tyler, what the fuck do you gotta say?
I always get canceled for my opinions on the Spider-Man. It's just how it is. I don't think he is the perfect Spider-Man, but definitely Peter Parker.
Who do you think is the perfect Spider-Man?
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
I could see that. That's honestly valid.
I can see the argument for that.
Yeah,
I won't disagree.
I feel like Andrew Garfield really cemented himself, which is like, it's sad to say, but like in No Way Home, like he fucking like knocked it out of the park in No Way Home. I mean, that was like, he should have got his third movie. Sony dicked him over, but he fucking just went crazy in No Way Home.
He's very close to the comics. I mean, joke-wise, just how he moves. Everything about him now, like Toby, he was more of like stoic almost, and didn't really. If he did any jokes, it was very few. But Andrew
didn't land.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to kind of comment on. We can kind of just like spit out any ideas that we kind of like were thinking of throughout the film, but I feel like his insults, they definitely got like the camp and nostalgia for them, but just like whenever they're in the burning building and he's like, "You're out, Gobby. Out of your mind." And I'm like, oh no. he has a lot of like kind of cringy dialogue moments.
The dialogue does feel kind of like very ripped out of like, you know, the 60s, 70s comics,
Yeah,
Mhm.
which
which is
is
what.
it's good.
Mhm.
Like, you know, like
Yeah. And I mean, Sam Raimi, I mean, wears his heart on his sleeve, like the inspiration on his sleeve for the films. I mean, because you're getting all those classic villains throughout like the entirety of the trilogy, like barring Venom. I mean, you're getting, Goblin, Doc Ock, um,
Man.
Sandman, yeah. So yeah, definitely don't all the jokes don't land, but I didn't think about it in that aspect. They are very kind of like hammy and like something that would be like in a 60s or 70s comic book. I was talking a little bit with Avery about this. I think one of the coolest aspects you get with Sam Raimi directing this film is like kind of like the subtle body horror and just the horror aspects throughout the trilogy. But specifically in this first one, whenever Peter, after he's bitten by the spider and he's in that alleyway, and you get the close up, like the super hard close up of his hands, and you see the barbs starting to grow out from his hands, and he starts to make that walk, climb
Mhm.
up the side of the building. And again, this being like my Spider-Man I grew up on and not knowing any different, the organic web shooters. I mean, that is just like it's pretty wild,
I thought that
looking
was
back.
honestly like before I learned, you know,
You thought
I
that
just took that as
science.
like, yep, that this is because I remember when I watched the movies originally years ago, I watched the Sam Raimi trilogy, and then I went into Amazing Spider-Man, and when he's making web shooters, I'm like, oh, he's not as cool. I'd seen web shooter toys, you know, but I just thought, well, because you can't actually shoot a web out of your arm, that's why they
Mhm.
existed. And then I'm like, oh,
These are actually
That's
like
what's
accurate.
that.
Yeah, but that's what's so cool. And like I know like during like well, I've read up like on some of the discourse that a lot of people didn't like that aspect of the trilogy was the organic web shooters and stuff, but I feel like it just lends to the whole identity of the trilogy and what kind of like works with the characters because like in Spider-Man 2, it's hard to talk about the first Spider-Man without talking about the other ones.
Mhm.
But in the second Spider-Man, whenever he was like going through all of his like emotional turmoil, he kind of just like couldn't shoot out his webs anymore. It added a different aspect. Um, Another thing I was talking about previously with Avery, I feel like in this film, for whatever reason, Peter and MJ's dynamic and chemistry is like as good as it gets. Like even in the second and third, for whatever reason, I feel like you get that like subtle tension really good. Like Kirsten Dunst does like a really good job of like kind of leading our boy on a little
Mhm.
bit.
Because
Like
it's her movie,
it's
you know.
oh yeah, of course she didn't get
Yep.
that. She didn't get that Spider Man. She didn't get that Spider Man chick. Anyways. Nah, she cooked. Maybe that's why she took a shit on like the two other films because like she cooked in this one and then didn't get what she thought she deserved. But I thought like the dialogue. I mean, I thought it was like between them. It. I don't know. It always hits for me for whatever reason. No matter how many times I watch it, the dialogue between them always hits. Like the scene whenever it was after her parents were arguing and they both like met up out back and she like whenever she was explaining how she wants to become an actress and he was actually Peter was offering those words of encouragement and actually was kind of giving her that affirmation that she's like never gotten from anybody and she can like finally see him for the first time. Like it kind of like just still gives me chills even thinking about it because it just like with the music and shit, everything just works so good and you don't get moments like that in superhero movies nowadays. You don't get those like really quiet moments where it's just two characters and they're just like building off of one another.
Mhm.
And of course, you get like probably one of the most iconic lines in a superhero movie. I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. And Peter's like an absolute cunt in that scene. Like he's like, are you saying I'm gonna become like a bad person? And I'm like, God.
You're not my dad.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, yeah, whatever. And then Peter fights with Macho Man as Bonesaw, and you get a Bruce Campbell cameo as well.
Well, even the car that yeah,
Uncle Ben was driving.
yeah, that's Ash's car.
Mm-hmm. I love how he puts that in every one of his films.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. It's like an Easter egg that he has. We'll have to. Have you all seen Drag Me to Hell?
I haven't. I've always wanted to go back and watch it, but I haven't.
That's gonna be. I'm afraid that's gonna be Justin Long January.
That's just a long January move.
That is. Damn. But you get Peter. He is trying to win some money to buy a car to impress MJ, and he fights in the wrestling event. Pulls a screw job on Macho Man to not pin that man, but
it was a pin.
Was the pin apparently? Either way, then you get him only getting $100 out of $3,000, which I think we kind of agreed on, Tyler. Like, yeah, I would have also let that man get mugged. I probably would have helped participate in it.
Yeah.
He lets the mugger go free, and then we come to find, Uncle Ben fucking dies. Then we come to find out that was the dude until Spider-Man 3 retcon, but nonetheless, that was one of the dudes that helped participate in Uncle Ben dying. And then he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna become Spider-Man." And then
sorry, I didn't catch up.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't remember, because I know in the comic, of course, there's the iconic scene of him like swinging across with the guy. I don't remember him just letting him fall and die. Or is that guy dead? I don't remember what Spider-Man 3 does.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that dude dies like whenever he falls out. I mean, that's kind of I guess it can still fall into the he didn't kill him. I mean, he kind of just had a whoopsie and fell out the 2-story, 3-story building.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. So watching it this time, I was like, oh.
Yeah, he ain't Batman, motherfucker.
Yeah. It's cool still with those Sam Raimi aspects. Whenever Peter's stalking that guy, you get the him subtly in the back, in the shadows, and him. You can see him crawling. You can see a shadow on top of the ceiling. It's some cool moments that you get.
Whenever he's swinging behind his car, and the police are going after him, that mask is all CGI. His face and everything is CGI. When I was a kid, I didn't think that at all. It looked so realistic. I'm sure I didn't watch it this time around because I've watched it fucking so many times growing up. So, but I'm sure it looks not as realistic, but that always shocks me that was all just CGI face wise.
It's a bit dated, but for how well it has held up, I mean, it's pretty commendable because it's a lot better than most of the CGI we're getting nowadays. Then of course, you got all the stuff going on with Green Goblin. Whenever I was a kid, first of all, when I was a kid, just off for the record, Green Goblin fucking freaked me out whenever I was a kid. He fucking scared me. Whenever he goes to the military base and blows up that test pilot dude, that shit is crazy because he blows up the guy. He's like, oh god, and blows up the guy. And then he goes after the other military dudes that were trying to get him out of business. And what I find hilarious is whenever he bombs that little bunker and it blows up, it cross dissolves into them throwing up their graduation caps, and it goes to them at graduation. And I'm like, holy shit, this movie is unhinged.
It just blended so well together that they could just,
it
play
really,
it like that.
It really did, and that's what's so cool is just it's unabashedly just itself. It's got that identity to it. And then one of my favorite scenes is whenever it's the montage of Spider-Man kind of like helping around the city and stuff, and you're getting all like the news reports and like the eyewitness accounts, and get the one goth girl that's Lucy Lawless. She's a guy with 8 hands. Sounds hot. And that is so fucking iconic. And then we're introduced to probably one of the best comic book castings of all time. It has survived many, many, many iterations. You got J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, and he realizes how much money he can make off Spider-Man, and he, finds Peter Parker, who's happens to have all these fucking amazing, high quality, fucking Getty's image photos. And I love how he like goes through them. He's like, crap, mega crap. And I'm just like, these are like, you fucking just like told him to stop and pose. He's so fucking funny. And that's one of the best things about the trilogy itself. And even in this, you can see just like all the people in the working in the Daily Bugle, Betsy Brandt and like his assistants and everyone else. Everyone's got their own personality and stuff and really bounce off each other well.
And just J.K. Simmons playing that role of J. Jonah and then coming back for No Way Home and still doing it like perfectly. It was just, it stands up that he's, such a great actor. And that was like the great casting for him.
They're like synonymous with each other. Anytime I see J. Jonah in anything, I'm thinking of J.K. Simmons. And there's just so many quotable moments. Just watch it, just for J.K. Simmons. And then it goes into the World Unity Festival. That's always been one of my favorite scenes. Green Goblin rolls in and fucking throws the little pumpkin bomb, and it turns everyone into skeletons. That shit, again, unhinged, goes hard as fuck. And anytime Goblin comes up, he like rises up to meet Mary Jane, and he like hits her with the "Hello, dear," and then it's one of the pedestrians, and she's like, "It's Spider-Man," and then the music hits, and he comes around that corner, and bro, it just fucking gives me chills to this day. This shit goes so hard. And one of the most unhinged moments is whenever Peter throws the punch at Goblin, and he's like, "Impressive," and he fucking kicks him in the chest, and he goes flying back through like glass, and then hits a telephone pole, and it makes a fucking gonk, and then it knocks down into someone else and goes gonk. It's so fucking silly.
Like, it's so over exaggerated.
Yeah, it's just like such like a perfect like comic book fight.
Yes, it is. It's so slapstick almost. And there like the scene where it was Norman Osborn talking to the Goblin in the mirror. Fucking Willem Dafoe. Such a good actor. He can fucking act with himself and carry a scene. So damn good. A character moment I always liked, whenever I saw someone comment on it. Whenever Goblin breaks into the Daily Bugle and he's questioning J. Jonah, he's like, who takes the pictures of Spider-Man? And he says, "I don't know. He sends it in through the mail." And Peter was right out there. I mean, he stuck up for Peter. I mean, he's kind of like, not like the most morally sound dude, but Peter had just left his office and he didn't even, throw him under the bus. So pretty selfless moment.
Yeah, he's not gonna lose out on that money. So
exactly. Whenever, oh my god, this shit went so hard. Whenever Aunt May is praying before she goes to bed, and fucking Goblin breaks in through the side of the house, and she goes, "Ah!" And he's like, "Finish it, finish it."
And then her in the hospital bed whenever Peter runs to the hospital and they've got her on the bed, she's still going,
Those awful yellow eyes. That shit goes hard as fuck. It's so menacing. Like when he breaks through and he makes her finish saying the prayer, that shit is so evil. He is fucking one of the best villains because it even goes into No Way Home. He's such a fucking good villain. He could just take that shit and do it in like 15, 20 years later like it's nothing. Oh, I fucking love Willem Dafoe.
I think out of the trilogy, Willem Dafoe being Green Goblin was like my favorite villain throughout all 3 movies.
I feel like it's always a toss-up for me with Doc Ock and Green Goblin, but dude, whenever I was a kid, Green Goblin had me in a fucking stranglehold.
Yo, don't forget about Venom. I mean, he was there.
I like being evil. It's fun. God, fucking Topher Grace.
I feel like all 3 of them. Like Doc Ock was like smart, and he was lethal. But then like when it came to Norman Osborn as Green Goblin, you knew he was like a straight threat. Like he will fuck you up, and he's smart enough to know how to fuck you up in all your weaknesses. And I feel like Doc Ock, I mean, obviously, like it's more of like the technology that's kind of altering him. So he is still a good person, but he has these evil thoughts. But Norman is just like another breed after that.
Yeah. Otto, he had that moment of redemption at the end of Spider-Man 2, fucking act of selflessness. So, yeah, Norman is just like epitome of evil in this.
And just like going, skipping ahead a little bit at the end of the film, just like the deception that he tries to play on Peter, and it's just he's
dude,
just full Goblin mode.
Literally Goblin mode, dude. I got chills thinking of fucking Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, man, because you get whenever I mean, we're pretty much, just talking points towards the end of the film after Aunt May is like fucking catatonic in the goddamn hospital after Goblin. There's a scene that like basically made my dick stiff where it was like it was MJ and Peter like sitting there talking and they're having that like emotional moment. And like it's like cheesy, I guess, but like I don't know, I'm kind of a softie because I thought that shit just still goes hard. And like by the end of it, of like his big like monologue and stuff, you could see that Aunt May like had been like listening in and she like closes her eyes and like then fucking Harry's fucking bitch ass walks in at the end and they're like holding hands and he goes back home and he's like, "You right, Dad. MJ was a slut. She did it for Peter." And I fucking hate one of the, god damn it, I just don't like James Franco in this first film specifically. He's just such a fucking scrub. But after that, then Norman is clued in that Peter cares about MJ. So whenever Aunt May and Peter are talking in the hospital, a really great line that makes you go oh shit, but Peter go oh shit as well is whenever she's like, "Everyone knows," and he has that moment. He goes to the payphone, tries to call up MJ. At the very end of like his recording, he gets a phone pickup and it's the fucking Goblin. He said, "Getting Spider-Man to come out to play." And I was just like, fucking let's go. And then they go to the bridge and she wakes up and she's on top of the bridge in her fucking bloomers, her fucking nightgown, and I'm like, God, dog, I know that's gotta be chilly up there. And Peter has to choose between, as Goblin says, the woman you love, or the little children. And he's like, "You decide." And he lets go at both. And then you get that fucking amazing shot of his lenses, and you get MJ in the one and the kids in the other, and fucking gets both of them. And MJ's barely hanging on. And she's like rappelling down his body down onto like the scaffolding or the cable on the car. And And then Goblin knocks into Peter. He has to make the quick save. Goblin's about to come back again, and this shit fucking. I don't need a national anthem. Play this scene from Spider-Man. Whenever the New Yorkers are like, "Yo, why are you trying to mess with Spider-Man?" He's like, "Yeah, this is New York. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us." And I'm just like, "Fuck yeah!" It's like, fucking, I don't need the national anthem. Play that shit. Makes me feel like I'm from New York.
All about family, you know.
He's like, "You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude." Then he saves the kids in the cable car, saves MJ. Then they have a big old tussle in this abandoned building. Peter gets fucked up. Fucked up. Bad.
We'll always love battle damaged costumes.
And the thing I feel like whenever I was watching this, what's different from like a battle damaged costume in this to like modern MCU, my man looks like he actually got the dog shit beat out of him. His hair is fucked up. His mask and like his suit is destroyed. He's bloody in the mouth. He's just covered in shit. People give Tobey Maguire's acting in the trilogy shit because like sometimes he can have some like crazy faces. But dude is actually just like full on not giving a shit, just emoting as much as one could, and commendable to me. So yeah, him and Goblin have the tussle, and then he hits him with the like, "Peter, I've been like a father to you." And he's like, "I have a father. It's Ben Parker." And I'm just like, "Fuck yeah." And then he's like, I don't know what he goes. He's fucking whatever he says before he's like about to shoot the glider into him. I don't fucking know. I'm just like, I'm screaming. I got my shirt off. He does the backflip, and then he's like, "Oh," he gets pelted like right in the dick.
I almost busted out laughing watching it when he goes, "Don't tell Harry."
And I feel like he's getting like impaled like right above like dick line too. I'm like, that like has to hurt, you know? So yeah, then Mary Jane was like, "Peter, I love you so much." And he's just like, "Sorry, Toots.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
I'm gonna do my own thing." And that's Spider-Man. Fucking got me rock solid throughout.
I guess like maybe not a plot hole, but whenever Spider-Man takes Green Goblin or Norman, I guess, to his house and he like lays him in the bed, and then like Harry walks in. Harry not just thinking like, "Why did Spider-Man impale my dad in the genitals?" Instead, he's just like,
Yeah.
"Spider-Man's gonna get what's coming to him." Like, does that seem very Spider-Man to you?
Well,
At least he kept his word and didn't tell Harry, in that movie.
Yeah, not in that movie, not in Spider-Man 2, but it's actually, he didn't tell him at all. No, it was fucking his Alfred, whatever that dude's name was, fucking Harold or something. Whatever that bitch's name was. But yeah, fucking Spider-Man still hits.
Can't forget the whole reason we watched this. Technically, it's a Thanksgiving movie because the Thanksgiving scene.
Exactly.
We started looking this up.
Where Norman berates Mary Jane because he thinks she's a whore. And they all sing Kumbaya and eat fucking fruitcake.
Yeah, how'd you cut your arm, pussy?
I knocked it off of a bike messenger.
Sorry, I'm late. I almost had to beat up an old lady for a can of cranberries.
Mm-hmm.
Who invited this pussy? What the fuck?
One thing that always like freaks me out, just like the idea of this, is whenever he had just got there. He had just got there. And once he got wind that Peter was Spider-Man, he was like, I must be excused. Like, dude was there for like a total of 5 minutes and called his son's girlfriend a whore and just dipped.
It's just normal activities, you know.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly. Yeah. I feel like still even now it holds up. I mean, the music, Danny Elfman's music. I feel like Danny Elfman's Spider-Man theme, I feel like for me is like right up there with his Batman theme. I fucking love his Spider-Man theme.
Yeah, Toby's theme and all the music that's like in those movies is so good. I mean, even like my favorite is when Toby gets a black suit and it's like the trumpets. That I fucking love more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. So noir and just perfect for it. Stop, you're making me hard. Stop.
Jesus. Yeah. Spider-Man 3, you're getting like full like Bully Maguire, like every sense in the word Giga Chad. I mean, god damn. Whenever we talk about Spider-Man 3, that's gonna be an experience.
Yeah. Did y'all play the video game that came out with it?
Hell
The
yeah.
2002 one? No.
Yeah. I played mostly all of them.
I enjoyed it. The only difference was like, I know they added more villains than what was in the movie,
Yeah,
which I get because it's a video game. But
the lizard and
I think Vulture and like Scorpion run it or something.
yeah, they had a couple of them in there. Just like Spider-Man 2, they had Mysterio, like
Yeah,
those and Shocker. But no, they even had Shocker in the first fucking Spider-Man game. I'm pretty sure. So
I think so.
yeah,
Wasn't Craven in the first one too?
I think so. Yeah,
I know they had a weird kind of selection.
yeah,
Like I said, I get it though. It's a video game. Like
yeah. You got to fill in the
it's
gaps.
a constant. Yeah. I always thought it was cool, like all the like tie-ins they did with the movie though, because you had like that, then you had like I know it was later on, but I know Pepsi I think did a big collaboration with them, and they had like Dr Pepper cans and stuff. So
Dude, Tobey Maguire's like voice lines within the games, he just doesn't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck. It's so funny.
I've seen like some where he's got the lines from like Spider-Man 3. He's like, "Don't worry about it, lady," and he's like just such a fucking dick.
It's so funny. It's so like nonchalant. Like I'm just here to get the fuck out of here type thing.
Mm-hmm. And anytime I hear Shocker, all I can think of is the '90s animated Shocker. I'm gonna follow you to the ends of the
I
earth.
wish we would have got that in the newest Spider-Man game, but we did
Oh,
not.
me too.
Yeah, that game.
Definitely could have cooked a little bit longer.
For sure.
And it was cooking for a while.
It was cooking for a while, but I felt bad for my boy Miles. He did not have much of anything to do in that story.
Yeah, even like his side missions, it was just like so fucking boring. Like I know it had like his college and whatnot, but it's just like
Yeah. Help us find the mascot. Help us
Yeah.
find some fucking music equipment. Help us find us some art pieces. It's like, dude, what the fuck are we doing?
I hate that Peter got the whole thing with Carnage and like all that stuff.
Yes.
But then Peter's was just Mysterio, and they were just like a time trial simulation thing. And so
Yeah.
I did not like those at all. Mysterio's side missions. I did not like those.
Yeah.
I think Mysterio's my favorite Spider-Man villain, and I didn't like him either.
It just felt
Yeah.
like a VR type thing. It didn't feel like more of like illusions. It was
There was
kind
no
of
stakes.
yeah. It was nothing, and at the end of it, when you finish it all, it was just like what he
Here's a,
what is it?
It's like, here's a suit, and he's just, I
Yeah,
won't do it again. Sorry.
it was just like nothing. So plus, like they had the DLC planned out. I get the leaks happened, and then now they're not doing any DLC after all those leaks that showed they had DLC. So it's like, and the suits that they took away, and they like trickled some back in from Spider-Man 1, and then they still didn't complete the whole fucking catalog. I don't know.
I wish they could have done more with Sandman because in the beginning, I mean, that was fucking awesome. That was
Yeah,
like a beginning, like for the opening in the beginning, that was great. I mean, they could have done a maybe like a DLC with like Sandman or something like that, or Sandman could have like tied back around in like the end of the game, like where maybe he could have helped or something.
but like one of my favorite things to do in that was when you're finding like the crystals, the sand crystals, and it showed
I
more of his
like those as
backstory.
well.
Those
Hmm.
were pretty fun. I liked those compared to like other side quest type things.
Oh man, R.I.P. Tony Todd.
Yes, sir. We are Venom.
Yeah, dude, he honestly was probably like one of the best Venoms. I mean,
Hmm.
easy. I wish he was in the game more, like his voice acting and stuff.
Everything that had to do with Venom, to me, felt so rushed. Like it was Craven, and then you went straight into like his head getting chopped off, and then all the side villains getting killed off screen, and then it was just like straight Venom. For a split second, you get the whole city fucking taken over, and then it goes immediately back to like normal after you do all that stuff. I just felt like it was super rushed with that, but for what it was okay.
I thought it was cool to kind of play as Venom too, and the whole
Hmm.
like him and
I
Clark's
thought that was
fight.
cool.
That was a very fun fight.
It felt so much like Ultimate Spider-Man when you would play as him as Venom, and then they were talking about having a Venom game, but then I don't know what Insomniac is planning to do now. I mean, him dying, if there was, well, he said before he died that there was a lot more voice lines that he did that was not in the game. So maybe there's a game. I don't know.
I really liked the lizard in the
The
game
lizard.
as
Yep.
well. You got a
Hmm.
little bit of the lizard. Like his boss fight was really cool. Craven was fucking awesome. Really great villain in that game. I thought it was. I mean, for when it ended up being not so great, but whenever Venom bit his head off, I was like, holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Yep. Then with the side missions, they're saying the whole family's coming. So I'm sure like the next game it'll deal with more of Craven's family, maybe more of Venom, Carnage. Hopefully,
Definitely.
I wish we would have got some fucking DLC out of it.
And I mean, they set up Silk in the end of the game.
Yeah. Silk
Yeah.
So I
and the
figured it was
Chameleon.
going to get another like Miles Morales 2 game, and then they'll move it to Spider-Man 3. So
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Goblin's definitely going to be the
And
big,
Goblin. Yep. Goblin.
yeah, he's definitely going to be the big bad of the third game,
I mean, even with
I
like
feel.
you're trickling Carnage in, and then you got Green Goblin. Maybe we're getting Red Goblin from that storyline type thing. So that would be pretty cool. But I don't know. I want. I'm kind of really more interested into the Wolverine game compared to Spider-Man 3 at this point.
I'm interested in the Captain America Black Panther game.
I
I
forget
keep
about it.
forgetting that's a
I
game.
do too, but it's one of those games. I remember seeing a trailer, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Trailer was really fucking cool, like really realistic.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool, especially like given like the time period. I'm big on games
Mhm.
around that time period, and the fact that it's going to be Captain America and Black Panther, two of my favorites. But yeah, what they do end up doing for like the Wolverine game in the way of even like the suits that they'll be able to do, they're gonna have so much to pull from. It's gonna be so cool.
If you haven't seen any of it yet, basically the whole game has been leaked out. So
A
uh,
lot of it's been leaked out, yeah.
I've avoided as much
I've not
as
seen anything. I've seen like a clip of him running, I think, and that's about it.
I've watched videos just because I liked looking at the mechanics. I've seen like a couple suits, but I mean all of that could be changed now that it's been leaked.
Right.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
like those suits that's been shown, they could pull those and just start a whole new collection, but it looks promising. It really does. I mean, story-wise, I don't know much about it, but just the game mechanics, I've seen a good bit of it. It looks promising.
I know it'd be kind of like difficult for them to do, but I would love to see them expand this Marvel universe and like connect all of the games so they can eventually,
Yeah,
make some sort of Avengers, game or something.
might be a minute after that garbage that came out with the Avengers. So
We already got an Avengers game.
Not anymore. He done
yeah.
blacklisted.
Yeah.
God, Ultimate Alliance.
There's. Ooh.
Bring that type of game back with those characters.
They need to do like Marvel versus Capcom again.
Yeah.
Did they just remaster those?
I think.
I think it was. I think it was like $60 for it or something. And I was like, that's just ridiculous.
A lot of money.
I hate when games like older, like not even that old of games, like the games that come to mind are like the Deadpool game and the Godzilla game. Those games are out of print. Like you can't even digitally download them. And it's just like, why? You know?
I guess because of licensing and stuff.
Yeah, definitely because of licensing, but it just sucks.
I know where.
So you should buy the physical copy.
I know, but now I gotta buy it, and it's like $500. The Godzilla.
It might be coming back, at least the Deadpool game, because where Microsoft bought, what was it, Activision? Yeah, Activision was the one that made the Deadpool game, so
that one has a chance.
like it's going to be on Game Pass and all that stuff. So
yeah, funny enough, I think for the Godzilla game, Bandai Namco, like them and like an offshoot company put together that Godzilla game, and it doesn't even look like it would be like that, much to write home about, but it looks like it'd be fun. You get to play as Godzilla and a bunch of different monsters. So
there's you're not plugging them, but there's a place near Cross Lanes that like sells older games. So, I know
they need to plug us.
Yeah,
they need to plug us.
Plug us before we plug you.
Exactly. Shout out for shout out.
Yes, sir.
All right. Has anybody watched anything since the last time we talked to each other, which has definitely been a week?
I watched the movie The Fall Guy.
Oh god.
Did with me, literally me.
Yeah, exactly. It was okay. It was a decent watch. There's parts of it that I really enjoyed, and it was visually like kind of pretty and like stuff like that. Other parts, they try to make jokes and they just don't land. The only thing that carries that movie is Ryan Gosling. So it's an enjoyable watch. There's a little cameo at the end. Spoiler. They somehow just shoehorned in Jason Momoa, which I thought was kind of funny. And so, other than
sounds
that,
about right.
Yeah.
I like how he was like Aquaman and like a big star, and now he's just kind of like in every fucking movie that's just like these little itty bitty.
I think that was like the joke that was about it, is because like in the movie, spoiler, I don't know if y'all care about the movie or not. It's Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, and he's like some like drug kind of guy, and he kills someone, and they have to replace him, but they've already filmed like 99% of the movie they were filming. So they just stunt in Jason Momoa last second, and he takes over the role. And it's like, oh, here's our trailer for Comic-Con, and it's just a minute of just Jason Momoa. So.
All right, well, first things first, let's get the fucking facts straight. Okay. Jason Momoa is going to be in the goddamn Minecraft movie.
Whoa.
He's going to be... Isn't he going to be Steve or no? He's not going to be
no,
Jack Black Steve. Jack Black Steve.
Yeah, that movie looks horrible.
Yeah, I want to fucking like eat an edible and go see that. And...
What I don't get is, how did they make the Mario movie? I don't know if y'all have watched that.
I loved it.
It was a great animated movie, and then we get live action Minecraft.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
That animation style of Mario is so good. Like, just Sega and Nintendo need to just invest their characters into doing animations like that for movies, and you'll get a wider audience for it. I mean, even wider now than it already is with like newer generations of kids. That was a perfect animation style.
Oh, Sonic though, the live action, like the ones they've had, those weren't bad either.
I haven't watched any of them.
There's a fine line that they can play with. It's just
I don't think Minecraft's the realm to do that.
no.
Minecraft looks shit, man.
It does. It doesn't look right when you see the live action.
Roblox movie.
Stop. We're kicking him.
It's gonna be Roblox and Minecraft releasing on the same day. It's gonna be the next Barbenheimer.
Do you want to play Pop Tropica?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Pop Tropica movie.
I'd support that.
They are?
No, I say we should get one.
Oh dude, let's make it. We can make it.
Yeah, and it's only like a sideways movie.
Yes. Yes, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Do you all remember like doing like the fucking crazy like multiverse mission on Pop Tropica where you can like finish it and like get to the end and you beat it?
I remember doing some. I also remember that I was too stupid as a kid to finish those levels, so I paid someone to do them for me.
Do you remember the one where you like visit like Leonardo da Vinci?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before I knew what YouTube was, yeah. Hey, $5, here you go, beat this for me. Back in the elementary school days.
It's another part on our reminiscing on old Flash games whenever we were kids.
Happy Wheels.
Happy Wheels.
I didn't play Happy Wheels.
Calling Obama.
I was whipping it up in the whatever the pizzeria game was, where it was also sideways. They had the.
You're talking about like it's like Papa Pizzeria or something.
Yeah. And they had like different offshoots, like you could do like
they're on like
hot dogs,
yeah,
hamburgers.
I just remember playing cool math games and playing like 3 games on that website, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so old now.
Yeah.
Thought this was supposed to be fun, guys.
Yeah, now I'm sad.
I'm just depressed.
But Spider-Man still gets me giddy.
I love how like the first movie that character comes back in No Way Home and he kills fucking Aunt May. Spares no time. Fucking deado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I whenever watching back on the scene where it's Spidey hanging upside down and him and Mary Jane kiss, I've seen like interviews where they talked about how, because they are drenched. It is like a monsoon of water. Like how it's been raining today, that's how it was for them. And from where he had the mask like rippled up to like his nose and he was using his mouth to kiss, he was like not able to breathe. So he was just like basically like holding his breath, like kissing. And you know, nonetheless, they suffered, but that's a fucking iconic scene.
It is, yeah. When I think of that movie, that's probably like the number one. Other than like Green Goblin, that's one of them.
I think of Kirsten Dunst's nipples. Yeah. They're like very prominent in that scene.
Well, now I will have to do a rewatch.
Oh,
for the millionth time.
I mean, like, she just was like, well, who made the call? Was that Sam Raimi? He's like, hey, Kirsten, you think we can ditch the bra today? I don't know. You could tell it was cold.
Yeah, just pan up on Toby and it's just like a hard on. through his fucking costume.
Dude, yeah, he's a stronger man than me wearing the skin tight spandex, dude. I could not.
Yeah, we're making some other sort of webs here soon.
Sir.
My boy's shooting them ropes. All right, well, do we got any news we want to hit on?
Today they released photos of How to Train Your Dragon live action, which looks more promising than I thought it was going to look. Toothless looks like Toothless. So.
Recently it was Tom Atkins' birthday, so Hey, Tom Atkins, I know you're like 87 years old, but if you ever want to join our podcast, we think you're a stud and we would love to have you.
Better be quick about it.
What? Anyways,
Better get on that soon.
Yeah, and Dick Warlock, because he's like knocking on heaven's door. Right? Shout out Dick. We love Dick.
We do.
Say it.
You know,
say it.
You know what I didn't love?
Dick?
I do.
Oh. What?
And finishing Agatha.
Oh, yeah? Was that poo-poo time?
I wouldn't say it was poo-poo time, but it was just mid, bro. To me.
Left him speechless.
Like,
I get that.
I feel like episode 8 started to go somewhere. Yeah. And then the finale was like, oh, we finally get to see things we thought about the entire season.
They should have did 8 or 9 first and then did 8 as the finale. Just switch around the order.
Yeah.
Because the whole flash scene, it should have been sooner.
Yeah.
All I know, Ma, I'ma fuck you, Ma.
I'ma fuck you, Ma.
I'ma fuck you, Ma.
Tell me you're proud.
Brandon and I haven't.
Ma.
We haven't been able to talk about Maxine yet.
Be a god. What was your thoughts?
You.
Oh.
No, I was. The little bit we talked about it, it was just. I was like in the first half where it was going, and but it was about the point. I hated the 2 cops. First of all, the 2 detectives.
So over exaggerated, especially that dude. The dude cop was fucking annoying.
Whenever it was her friend that worked at the video store, and they roll his body out, and everyone's like, looking around, like, oh, somebody's dead. Like, I get it, but in no situation are they actually. Yeah, that was when I went.
Just like too much.
Yeah. And also, just the tone. Like, I understand each movie in the trilogy has its own vibe. X is, 70s slasher. Pearl is like this Technicolor fairy tale vibe, and this one is more of like a 80s thriller. Like, what is it, Joel? Yeah. What's the term for like Italian?
Yeah, it's like a like kind of like a
giallo or something like that.
Yeah, giallo. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like that vibe.
Yeah.
Not really seen any movies, so I can't comment on if that was faithful or not. But
Same.
I was just hoping for more, and then the dad twist I saw coming a mile away.
About that. You did?
Yeah. And it did not land.
I did not like that reveal. I thought, man, I don't know. I was almost hoping like that they could have done like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood kind of tie-in to where it ended up like she had to take down like Richard Ramirez or something like that, because the dad reveal was so out of left field and just so super villain like, and just how he like had this whole cult for all of the the children that turned to the devil or whatever. It was just so lame from everything that they had previously done and how clever it was. Retroactively, Maxine makes me like X less, but I still love X, but like I feel like it etches Pearl like higher for me now.
I've always been a Pearl over X. But
What did you give it out of 5 again?
What, Maxine?
Yeah.
A 3. Like I do think it's okay. It just compared to the other two, it doesn't hit.
It was so promising in the beginning, like the whenever it was her in the audition and she's walking out and you're getting like the music and her driving, I was like, this is awesome. And whenever she's like stomping out that dude's balls in the alleyway,
Mhm.
like me next, that shit went hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And just
even the vibes there at the very beginning too, when she's like, doing the casting, choice, and she breaks down, she cries on camera, immediately wipes it off, and then they're like, okay, now flashes, and she flashes them, and then she's walking out, and she's like, "Don't."
yeah, she's like, fucking pack your bags. Like that's the thing is it was so promising in the beginning, and Mia Goth is excellent. I mean, it's not anything on
Mhm.
her. It's just like the writing just was not that great. It's just it is really weird. Did you like Kevin Bacon? It was all
Kind of
right.
like it, he fell into that like over the top campy vibe, like the detectives and everybody else in the movie, basically. But also at the same time, yeah, I guess really no. I did
Yeah,
enjoy her friend that worked at the video store.
he was awesome. Yeah.
It was cool. And
Mm,
then yeah, that's really the only notable likable characters like Lily Collins and Halsey. I mean, but they don't do much.
right. Oh, you had Gus. I can't remember his name. Moff Gideon.
Or his wig was so bad. Do y'all self a favor and look up Gus. What's his name in this?
Giancarlo Esposito. Giancarlo
Moff
Esposito.
Okay.
Moff Gideon with a wig.
Hmm.
Rough.
They had the 80s aesthetic pretty good though. I feel like I mean bad
Even the
hair
slight grain.
purposes and all.
Yeah.
Slight grain.
He was a real one though. After the car smash, that was real.
Exactly. That's what
So
made me think of him. Yeah, I think I also gave it a 3. Definitely an underwhelming end to the X trilogy, but you got Pearl and Maxine, so probably would be quite a while before I would watch um Maxine again. Yes. I don't know if there's any other points that we really need to hit on. I mean, it's been a week. Been a long week.
been a very long week, guys.
Such a long week.
Hell yeah.
Well, I think that short film that I was helping participate in like a month or two back, I think it's going to be coming out sometime later in the month, maybe beginning of next month. So I'm definitely going to have to shout that out whenever it comes out.
We can just review it right here.
Yeah, we can review. It was the scenes that I was in. It was like filmed in a public place, and um, there were patrons coming in and out, and it was quite the start stop. Um, it was definitely an experience, but something I need to get more acquainted with because it's always fun. Um, well, follow the socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and our letterboxes. check out Avery's art account, where he's pulling out some cool traditional tattoo shit.
Wee.
I'm a fan.
It's pretty dope.
What is
Dope.
it? Bro. They're okay. They're okay.
Am I missing anything?
Subscribe, fuckers.
Fucking subscribe. Fuck.
We've been sitting at 19 for a while now. Subscribe. And I know
When we get to
some.
20, when we get 20,
Giveaway.
giveaway.
That entire collection behind Tyler. I'm just kidding.
Ah.
Oh, it's like,
We should each pluck out like one of our hairs. I'm not gonna say on which part of our body, but like one of our hairs, and like
I know where Chad's going.
Chad, your cam's on. Chad, your cam's on. Anyways, we pluck out and then we, exactly. So exactly. Please subscribe, share. This is fucking just where can you get this sort of, where can you get this? We're the perfect commuting podcast. It has been proven. Listen to us in the car.
yes. And you get a podcast every week.
Every week.
Except the 1 week.
Barring last week. But
The first hiccup.
we're here. We're here.
We're here for you.
You get the eye candy and you get the auditorial candy. So please subscribe and fuck Ben Affleck.
Oh, now, buddy. Oh, now. We're going to end it here before it gets too hot here.